We did a long episode.
We did a long-ish episode, but I don't want it to be 80% of me bitching.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
Dal, I don't know if it's going to come through on this podcast, but it's already been a weird day. And there was the strangest thing happened that inadvertently I caused. And it is a thing that will make your blood curdle.
Cool.
Actually,
best way to start a podcast.
Right?
Curdled blood.
So, we ordered pizza for lunch.
Okay.
Now, as you recall, Donovan Challenger was very fond of Pizza Hut pizza.
Sure, she has terrible taste.
And Pizza Hut, the one by us, is no longer.
Yeah.
As are other things we like to get delivery from, like Jimmy John's.
Sure, any number of things.
However, I'm a fan of Sarpino's.
Sure.
And I convinced her that if she gave Sarpino's a try, she would like it. Now, traditionally, Sarpino's pizza is our go-to wrestling pay-per-view pizza. Specifically, their smoked bacon pizza. Delicious. You've had it before?
I have. It is very good.
Usually when doing that, I order through Grubhub because the Sarpino's app on my phone always encounters problems and I can never process an order promptly. However, the app has so many more choices for your pizza creation than Grubhub allows.
Huh.
So we went to the Sarpino's website, which is gosarpinos.com, build our own pizza. They have a million possible choices, vegetables and meats, and the way you prepare it and everything. And in fact, Donovan, who usually gets jalapenos and black olives, wanted giardiniera instead of jalapenos.
Okay.
And roast turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And when you order pizza at different places, let's say Pizza Hut online, when you're carving your pizza, you set at the top if this is for the left side, the right side, or the whole pizza.
Sure.
For Sarpino's, it is per item you picked left, right, or whole. Okay? The first item on the Sarpino's list is cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mistakenly thought if I click I could change the sides, because Donovan and I always go half and half.
Okay.
Because I don't want her stuff on mine. She doesn't want my choices of meat on hers.
If this ends up with none pizza with left beef, I've already seen that meme. I don't
know what that is.
Have you never heard of that?
No.
Someone has a very... I'll tell us quickly. It's a very elaborate story, but the short version is someone ordered a pizza with no toppings and left beef. So they got delivered this, like, circle of dough with, like, pieces of beef that were just sprinkled on the left side. So it's a none pizza.
Okay.
Because they said no cheese, no sauce. And they added left beef.
Okay.
None pizza with left beef.
That's almost exactly what we got. Because in my clicking, I managed to say no cheese.
Classic meme!
And while discussing sauce options, I had said, do you want extra sauce? And she said no. But it looked like you can just get extra sauce on your half. So when I clicked that, what I wound up doing was canceling sauce for her half. So this pizza shows up. It is a round pie of dough.
Baked. I mean, it's been prepared.
Mm-hmm. Half of it has sauce and bacon.
And no cheese.
And no cheese.
Just this bacon
there's no cheese.
Floating in hot
There's
sauce.
no cheese on the pizza. So my ultimate question is, if there's no cheese, is it pizza?
Yeah.
Yes, it is?
Yeah.
Okay. What if there's also no sauce?
No.
So I got...
I'll be honest with you, sauce is pretty much the optimal thing for a pizza. It doesn't have to be like tomato sauce, but there needs to be a sauce. Without the sauce, I don't know if it's pizza anymore.
See, I thought it would make your blood curl because you prefer extra cheese and less sauce.
For sure, yeah. I mean, for me, cheese is the most important ingredient in a pizza, followed by dough and then like a topping. But like for most people, it's the opposite. They want very little dough, for instance, and they want a lot of, a healthy amount of sauce, some cheese, maybe a lot of cheese, but definitely like sauce. That's the main pizza ingredient.
Sure. So anyway, that was the pizza we had.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, it was actually pretty good. Because I like their sauce. Their sauce is sweet. Their tomato sauce is sweet. So I had sauce and bacon and crust. And she had basically a roasted turkey sandwich.
Okay. Did Donovan enjoy what she was served?
Donovan ate all 4 of her pieces.
Wow.
By the time I had done 2 of mine.
Wow. So this you should have saved that mistake pizza as like a Friday favorite.
It was a make-do. She was very hungry. But yeah, I managed to...
I don't know, man. Sometimes people screw stuff up and you make penicillin,
Sure.
Weird accidents happen all the time in the name of science and the betterment of the human species.
I'm just saying that set the stage for the day.
Oh, okay.
There are no more anecdotes from business for the day. But that was just... And I realized that it's not very comic booky, but it happened at work at a comic book store, so I felt justified in telling the story.
And it's not a very long story, so
no,
it's not like you've
but
eaten
also,
up an episode telling
I think
this
it had
pizza story.
Even though you stepped on it, I think it had a good payoff.
It did. I did not mean to ruin your joke. I didn't think
it wasn't a joke.
Gotten...
It was a legitimate story.
Well, I mean, there was a little bit of a joke in the delivery, and I didn't mean to step on the punchline. But yeah, Nun pizza with, I think it's left beef, or it's left or it's right beef, one of the two, is a very funny classic internet story set in the early days of being able to order pizzas online and trying to break the system and succeeding.
Succeeded in breaking it, or just...
Yeah, I mean, you've...
ruining your meal.
No, I mean, it was... Well, obviously, this was an experiment. This wasn't supposed to be like an edible meal. It's just, if I tell them I want nothing on the pizza, literally nothing, no cheese, no sauce, these things that you shouldn't be able to turn off entirely, I can turn them off entirely. If you walked into a pizza place and said, I would like no sauce and no cheese, but I would like dough and I would like beef on the left side, they would tell you to get out. But because of the internet, you could construct an impossible pizza, basically. And the question was, would the pizza place actually make this pizza, or would they just like cancel the order because you're trolling them? And the answer was, they will make whatever stupid thing you ask, even if it makes no sense as a pizza.
As long as you pay for it,
yeah,
sure.
You're paying for it.
Right after that, I'd gotten a survey from them, from Sorpinos, like, how was your pizza? And I thought, I'm not answering this.
Really?
Through no fault of their own.
Sure.
How
did they execute your mistake? Well? Not well?
Actually, they executed it well.
There you go. You should have given them glowing reviews.
We also each got dessert.
Yeah, what'd you get?
I got their chocolate mousse cake, which was fine.
Ooh.
And she got the tiramisu and liked it very much.
Okay.
So, Dal,
Patrick,
I wanted to start this off with a light story about pizza before I jumped into what has been on my mind the last several days as far as the comic book world goes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's me going back to the well.
Okay.
I hate Marvel.
Is that well full of axes that might need grinding?
I truly believe Marvel Comics is trying to put all retailers out of business.
Why would they do that, though? That doesn't seem helpful to them.
I don't... Because they don't care. They don't need us. They don't care.
So, I mean, they're not trying to put you out of business. It's just...
No, they just don't care.
If you go out of business, that's not a concern of theirs. I see.
And I can give you a slew of reasons, and I'm going to.
Okay.
But I will start with one positive from them. And this comes on the heels of an announcement they made months ago, to which I said, Jesus Christ, who fucking cares? Oh boy, you have the Conan license again. It has been relevant in forever. The other companies that have had it have beaten it to death.
Sure.
You can't make me care about a Conan book.
Patrick, do you care about the new Conan book?
I do.
Huh.
You made me care about it.
Huh.
It's Jason Aaron and Mahmoud Asrar.
It's true, with covers by Asad Ribic.
Yeah.
And colors, I think, by Matt Wilson.
Which, honestly, Asad Ribic works way better on a Conan the Barbarian cover than a Fantastic Four cover.
Sure.
But, I mean, yeah, I trust Jason Aaron, and I didn't know what a huge Conan fan he was.
Sure.
And the Marvel Conan the Barbarian run means a lot to me. Like, I believe my brother and I own them all.
Sure.
And most of the Savage Sword of Conan magazines and most of the Savage Tale magazines.
Uh-huh.
John Buscema and Ernie Chan, those guys, they're my Conan artists. And Roy Thomas, yeah, like that is...
Nothing good to say about old Barry Smith, huh?
Well, I mean, look, that's... I have those.
Okay. Doesn't mean anything to you?
And that, look.
You look.
It's like saying that Tony Moore is your Walking Dead artist.
I don't know if I would say it like that. I mean, I feel like
it's like saying Corey, I forget his name, is your favorite Invisible artist. Although he's come back numerous times.
I would say it's more like saying that Chris Samnee is your favorite Captain America artist. Like, it's a little recent to use that analogy, but it's somebody who did a short run, but a really great short run. Like, Barry Smith's Conan stuff.
Look, I love it.
Well regarded.
I'm not saying it's bad.
Hat.
I love it. It's just not what I think of as the definitive Conan for me.
That's fine. I mean, my definitive Spider-Man artist is Rick Leonardi, and that's a guy who did a fill-in issue.
And mine is Ross Andrew.
I mean, I'm saying I don't have anywhere to speak as far as saying, like...
But
it's hard for me not to make the argument...
Look, you saying Rick Leonardi is your favorite Spider-Man artist doesn't mean you think Steve Ditko...
But I didn't say favorite.
Okay, you're definitive.
Right,
fine.
And that's the thing.
But you're not saying Steve Ditko is shit.
No.
Right. And I'm not saying anything bad about Barry Windsor Smith.
Sure. And I guess what I was trying to get at was, it's not my place to say that how to phrase this. The duration that an artist is on a book shouldn't have any bearing on appropriate or inappropriate. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody was using inappropriate.
I'm not suggesting they were.
Oh, okay. Okay. Anyway, I guess the point of this is you're not excited by this book.
Yeah, short answers are I've never cared about Conan. I'll give it a read, but no one's Conan has stuck with me no matter who they've put on that book.
If you just give me shit for not saying it was Barry Windsor Smith.
Yeah, no, I was just being contrary.
Sure.
I was just surprised
that
someone who is usually like in the first two names someone names when they talk about classic Conan comic artists went unregarded by you. I had to go, wait, what? It would be like if you were naming like all-time great X-Men artists and went like, oh man, Paul Smith, Johnny Romita Jr., Dave Cockrum, yeah, all the greats.
So in your analogy, are you leaving out Neil Adams or Jack Kirby?
I mean, any number of people. That's just
Jim
it. Where it's
Steranko? Like who was your? No, I know you meant John Byrne.
Yeah, Byrne. I mean,
I know.
Byrne's a top 3 all-time X-Men artist, and if you were naming 3 X-Men artists and he didn't make the cut, I'd be like, did you miss that you didn't say John Byrne? Do you think you did and you didn't? Going back to Conan,
I wanted to make a joke about my top 3 X-Men artists, but I can't remember their names. But it was all like the Joe Mad time. Like who was the first Joe Mad clone to take over after him?
Matsuda?
Maybe.
Ed Benes, I think, was on it for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are plenty of other people.
Sure.
Yeah, they were all pretty forgettable.
Those were my jokes.
So going back to Conan, I've never cared about Conan. I'll give this a read, but I don't expect it to stick any more than the past versions have.
Okay.
The amount of attrition we're seeing on Jason Aaron's Thor and Avengers comics make me think that dude is maybe a little overextended at this point.
I can see that. Like he doesn't have the shine to his star, but he's still one of their A-listers.
But that's the problem, I think, is that Marvel looks at him now as the guy of like, okay, this guy can launch whatever project we give him. So if there's a project that needs a launch, he's the guy. And that's a real dangerous position to put a guy in reflexively.
Like, I understand what you're saying. And when he launched Star Wars, as you all know, I'm not a Star Wars fan.
Sure.
I read the first couple arcs because it was him, but I wasn't excited, but I gave it a shot because of Jason Aaron. Reading him talk about this makes it sound like he asked them for this book.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. It feels like a much better fit for him than something like Avengers, for example, where like this is much closer to Thor and some of the darker storytelling he's done in independent stuff, rather than something that is more, traditional 1960s Marvel stuff.
And using that, I think that you can assume he'll be better at it.
Yeah, I definitely assume it's going to read better than the Avengers stuff has, but it's not... If they had said a year ago Jason Aaron's writing Conan, I would feel a lot differently than I do in 2018.
Sure.
His recent stuff at Marvel has been... And, I mean, I like the Thor stuff right now, but man, do people not seem to like the Thor stuff right now. And some of that is Mike Del Mundo, but some of it I think is just... I don't care as much about the book as I did when Jane Foster was Thor. Like, Jane Foster not being Thor took the wind out of my sails in a way that I was not anticipating, because I knew from day one, this is the middle of a story. So Jane Foster is the middle part. She's not the whole story. But coming back to Boy Thor and War of the Realms, it was just like, oh man, this again? I'm not that into it.
Yeah. So angered by the loss of Jane Foster that you redid all of the comic signs and challengers this week.
Not just Jane Foster,
to get rid. Well, no, but that was the impetus.
There were a couple that I looked at and went, we've got a Jane Foster Thor, we've got a Jessica Jones, we've got Saga, we've got Harley Quinn. Like, fully half of them were like, we either don't carry this book, or it's not coming out right now, or it's not coming out ever again. So it just was like, we got to switch this up. I'm not replacing 4 signs when I could replace 8 just as easily. And some other stuff, like we had a Doctor Strange sign because when I did those signs, I think the Doctor Strange movie had either just come out or come out on home video, and now it's like that can be something else now. Doesn't have to be Doctor Strange.
Who wrote Doctor Strange? Right,
Dennis Hopeless is who you're thinking of.
So pick any other Marvel writer.
Current Marvel writer?
Sure.
Kelly Thompson.
Oh, you bastard.
Oh, sorry. I mean, why would you say pick anyone and if that'd be the wrong one?
Well, because it's going to be... And put them on Thor and see if you're excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kelly Thompson Thor would be amazing.
I'm not going to pick a writer I'm not excited about.
But I mean, I guess I should have said name another Marvel writer. I don't mean pick like your choice.
Sure.
I just mean, like, I honestly thought you were going to say Donny Cates.
Oh, no.
Kelly Thompson notwithstanding. I think that anybody else you put on Thor, who's currently writing for Marvel, we wouldn't order as high as we will for Jason Aaron.
Yeah, it'd be hard to pick
somebody else. I'm not saying we're ordering high.
We are, but we're ordering pretty high for that book relative to the rest of them.
What I mean for Conan.
Oh, I don't know. I'm willing to see what the pre-order numbers are. I don't have a number in my head of what I would order for Conan. A lot of it is going to be based on, is there a response amongst subscribers for this book? I mean, obviously we're going to tell everyone who's getting Thor, hey, there's this Conan book. Because the crossover there seems real apparent to me.
Yeah.
But I'm always curious, like, is there a Conan fan base that's still out there? Like, we weren't seeing it steadily from Dark Horse.
Right.
That was a while ago. I don't know.
But, and like I said at the beginning of this, I'm a Conan fan. I didn't care for their stuff. I didn't read most of Dark Horse's books, but this I care about.
Yeah, I don't harbor any animosity towards Marvel for doing it and doing it with that creative team. It seems like a decent choice. I'd be lying if I said I was personally excited as a reader, but, I mean, books don't have to be for me. That's fine.
Here's a sidebar from an actual event in the store today. There was a club member came in to get their books, and based on what they were buying, I had said, hey, there's these 2 other books you might be interested in. And they were very excited for both of them, and signed up for them and bought everything we had. It was 6 issues of one, 2 issues of another. Like, put me down for these books. Which is great, but the whole time I'm thinking, I know you were emailed about these books.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
I know that not only did you get a list of, hey, here's what's coming out, I know that I wrote for the weekly email a pitch about Oblivion Song.
Uh-huh.
And I know you emailed people who got Walking Dead and said, hey, here's Oblivion Song.
Uh-huh.
So those emails were just never read or never missed, but the level of excitement was unexpected. Well, not like I'll try them, but yeah, I want these. I want all of them. Put them on my list. And I just thought, like, man, like we have to do that. We have to have that final step of putting it in your hand and saying, just acknowledge this exists. You don't have to buy it, but there's so many steps we try to take.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get mad about people not reading emails or not reading all of emails, because if I did, I would never stop being angry. The amount of times in a given month a subscriber sends me an email saying, hey, can you email me my list? A week after they've just gotten an email that gave them their entire subscription list.
Gets their list
that they have not changed since then.
Once a month.
Yeah. So 7 days after I just sent them a list, and they've made 0 changes to their list, hey, can you email me my list to see what it's at right now? if I got angry about that again, I would never stop being angry.
It's not just that. I mean,
no, I'm just using it as
unrelated
one example.
to the store. I got a text from a friend yesterday saying, "Hey, can you send me this information again?" So all I did was screen cap the earlier text and send that as a photo. But it just feels like they even acknowledged, "Can you send it to me again?" knowing they got it before, but my time is less valuable, so I can go back and find it and send it.
Yep.
So they just have it right there.
Yep.
Like, I know that wasn't their intent, but...
Or was it?
If I could find it, it could be found.
Sure.
Is what I'm saying. So, anyway, the Conan the Barbarian announcement, which doesn't start until January...
Is it January?
Yeah.
Jeez.
That also, I'm surprised it's announced as early because...
Yeah, mostly they're doing December stuff because we've started ordering November.
That was the positive. Here are the negatives. Plural.
I assume there's a very long list.
First of all, Uncanny X-Men #1.
Yes. The oversized 72-page issue 1.
Uncanny X-Men, when it comes back,
series.
is going to be a 10-part weekly series to start. We don't know what's going on after that.
Yeah, boy, the start thing made me real eyebrow raised.
The first 3 issues are already available to order. The covers get progressively worse.
Mm-hmm.
The covers are terrible. Then they get more terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The first issue of this series is $8.
72 pages.
It is an $8 first issue. I'm sure it's
quadruple size.
I'm sure it's all content. I'm sure it's not reprints.
Ooh, I mean, I wouldn't say reprints, but I would also caution probably not. I mean, content.
Like, it just lists
not story
the
content.
3 writers. It doesn't say, it doesn't. They don't tell you backups. They don't do that. And for the record, the solicitation copy is the exact same for all 3 of the first issues.
Because all 3 are in one catalog. They're not doing 3 separate entries. My guess, and this is a total guess, I would say probably not more than 60 pages of actual comic book story content. The remaining pages will be, interviews with the creative team, looks at upcoming issues, covers, fluff, other stuff.
So that's part 1. $8 for what is a weekly series.
First part of No Surrender was $5 or $6.
Okay.
Because it was a lenticular cover, I believe.
I almost just now, out of anger, blurted out a Marvel secret that we know.
Uh-huh.
Just to be a dick. But I won't.
Okay. Thanks, Patrick.
So that's part 1 of this. Part 2 is that if we want to qualify for any retailer incentives, it's match to Avengers.
Yes.
Which is one of our highest selling Marvel books.
Yes. Used to be our highest selling, now it's one of our highest.
Yeah.
Again, that attrition.
But it's matched to 300% of Avengers.
Yep. Not reaching for that number.
No.
It's ridiculous.
But don't worry, there's a lesser one for 250%.
Fantastic Four is the same thing. It was like 275 or 300% of Avengers for like a $6 issue.
It was.
Nope.
It was 300, they lowered it to 275.
Yep.
But
Thank you, Marvel.
It's also it's tied to the same issue.
Yeah.
It was the same one.
I mean, as long as they're making up insane numbers, they can tie it to whatever comic they want.
Right. I don't understand it, but an $8 first issue is just...
It's a lot.
It's just... They're daring you to try to buy any other comics that month.
Sure.
And then, segueing into... normally Marvel likes to tease books with a different image that doesn't give too much away a day. Like if it's a team book, they'll show you a silhouette of a team member each day. Then at the end of the week, they'll give you the team. Mm-hmm. This new property, they dumped all today.
Yep.
And the first one was an illustration of the Hulk by Ron Garney and Richard Isanov. And it said, The Last Defense, December. And it was a picture of the Hulk. And it's a cool, scratchy Ron Garney style.
I like Ron Garney.
And it's a fully painted Richard Isanov thing. I'm like, okay, I get it. I see what you're doing. Calling it The Last Defense.
Sure, he was a defender, right?
It's going to be a defender thing.
Sure, seems likely.
And then, like a hour later, there's another one, and it's Namor.
Hey, Namor. He was a defender, too.
Also Ron Garney, also Richard Isanov.
Sure seems like Ron Garney's doing a Defenders project.
Right? And it looked neat. It was a faraway shot of Namor shooting out of the waves. Then we got a third email, and I turned to Donovan and said, all right, Donovan, it's Doctor Strange, but it may be Silver Surfer, but it should be Doctor Strange. Third one, Silver Surfer.
Mm-hmm.
A really different look for Silver Surfer because it's Ron Garney with a lot of scratchy, like not doing the reflective.
Yeah, a lot of people tend to do like a lot more curves and stuff on Silver Surfer because of the chrome, but he went a little harder.
But still, a nice piece. And then immediately after that, bam, Doctor Strange.
Sure.
So we get 4 of these, all Ron Garney things, and I think, okay, they're launching a new Defender series.
Art by Ron Garney.
Art by Ron Garney. Great.
Seems pretty straightforward.
I'm excited to see who's writing it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we get the email with the full announcement.
Uh-huh.
It's not a Defender series.
Nope.
It is a series of 5 weekly one-shots
Uh-huh.
in December, which, FYI, only 4 Wednesdays in December. All different creative teams.
Yep.
All different titles.
Yep. Spoiler, none of them Ron Garney.
None of them Ron Garney.
Yeah. So I guess he's doing the covers. My expectation, and again, I don't know anything, this is just a guess, Ron Garney's the artist on a Defender series that will be coming after this 5-week event.
I mean, maybe.
Assuming the numbers work. But it would be too weird to have him doing this when I don't think he's doing a Marvel book right now.
Right.
He's not the guy you hired just to do 5 covers. There's some interesting creators on it. Jason Latour is writing and drawing the Silver Surfer issue.
Uh-huh. Chip Zdarsky is writing. Jerry Dugan is writing Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Greg Smallwood's drawing it, though, so psyched about that. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely interesting creators involved. Al Ewing's writing the Hulk one, I think, and maybe the Defenders one.
Yes, the Hulk one and the Everybody Together one.
Yeah, so that's good.
So they're announced as standalone stories that fit together into one thing. Like, each issue is... It's a standalone Hulk story, it's a standalone Namor story.
Okay, so it's not like a 5-part story?
But then all of these stories fit together into the Defender thing at the end.
Okay. So you just have to read one of the heroes and then the Defenders book, and you'll get a story. Okay.
But what made me so mad about it is it's a series of one-shots, so if anybody says sign me up for all of them, we have to do all this extra work.
That's not the thing that bothers me. I mean, that
should bother you a little bit.
It's irritating, don't get me wrong. But the thing that bothers me is the same thing that bothers me every time they do a weekly event like this. You have no sales data.
No, none.
So the number that we pull out of a hat at FOC for part 1, by the time part 5 ships, we'll maybe have 1 issue to go off of. Maybe. By which point we'll have already ordered the other 3 middle parts. Like, it's what makes us order incredibly low on those events, because why would I gamble on it? Why would I risk my money on an event like that Marvel is releasing this way, specifically to game the system? So that we have no data. So we can't order what actually sells. We have to order what we're afraid we'll miss out on if we don't order. That's it. That's the fear they want us operating from, is the missing out. The dollars I'm leaving on the table because, all right, I'm going to order 15 copies. But man, if I sell out in week 1, I'm not going to have any more, and I can't go any higher later on. So maybe I go 20 or 25, and then you're looking at 15 extra copies on the rack by issue 3, and it's wasted money. And that you'll never get back. That no one's ever going to ask for the 3rd week of a 5-week event, ever.
This rolls into my next Marvel complaint, which actually was going to come earlier, but then the Defenders got announced today.
Sorry.
I just finished the... Oh man, did we ever upload the order pack?
No.
We have next week.
Yeah,
okay.
we were going to wait.
Yeah, I forgot.
Until after the weekend.
So I just finished the October orders.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel's October orders, they're filled with weekly series.
Mm-hmm.
You have the weekly What If event, if you want to call it that.
I do.
You have the weekly X-Men Black event. And keep in mind, again, these are not series. These are all standalones with different creative teams.
Yep.
You have...
Although the X-Men Black thing has a recurring backup story about Apocalypse.
Okay.
So in theory, that's a 5-part backup to inspire people to buy all 5 of them when they come
You mean
out.
like where's Logan? Or where's Wolverine? Or
I think it's probably more than 2 pages an issue.
Does it have the end of Extermination? Like, there were, all told, and I forget, and I was going to write them down, but I didn't because it was honestly making me mad. The amount of books available from Marvel to order before you get to just the regular monthly alphabetical solicitation, starting with Avengers and moving down, it's absurd.
Sizable.
It's ridiculous. It's so many books, so many themed events that they're doing that I don't see, and our pre-orders are all like 0s, 1s, or 2s.
X-Men Black is doing okay. I've been putting those in, and we're probably high single digits, I would say we're at for X-Men Black. What If definitely is going to be on the lower end of single digits. But X-Men Black, there's been a bunch of people, and only 2 people I can think of were like, I only want these couple, as opposed to people just saying, I'll take all 5.
I ordered more of the What If reprints than I did of the current What Ifs.
Well, those are $1. That's not a big risk.
Well, also those, I didn't order all of them. I just picked and chose. I mean, I ordered the ones that I remember loving as a kid.
Sure. I don't think there's a lot of the second series, which are the ones that I was.
Yeah, it's because those are all bad.
Those are
like What If Legion something. That was the second series.
Yeah, but I mean, they could have done the Evolutionary War one, which was the first one. They could have done the Daredevil Kills the Kingpin, which was the second one. I think they maybe are doing the Spider-Man Never Got Rid of the Alien Costume, which was a really good issue.
Yeah, it was What If the alien costume took over Spider-Man.
It's a really good issue.
Yeah.
There's a really good Armor Wars one. Yeah, all that stuff is good.
Yeah.
At least those first 20-something issues before it. I don't think there was a specific point where it really got weird, but down the line they had a tougher time finding stuff to do what ifs of, because they'd done all the major story beats.
It's just annoying because it's just, what if X-Men?
Yeah.
What if Spider-Man? At least Spider-Man is what if Flash Thompson was Spider-Man. Fine, that's a story. That's a thing you can pitch, but...
Yeah. We've talked about this before. Like, the X-Men one is very much an Elseworlds.
Yeah.
Like, it's not what if in the sense of, things went differently. It's what if there was a computer world and the X-Men were Tron, and it's that's not what if. That's a different thing.
Well, it's funny because the Elseworlds were literally DC's version of what ifs. What if Batman fought Jack the Ripper? What if Superman grew up in Russia?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, but there was stuff that was...
evolved out of that, but
yeah,
I want to say it was a direct answer.
Okay, it's hard to see that now because the what if stuff was so specific to
a storyline.
This thing happened in a comic book. What if the opposite thing happened, as opposed to, what if Bruce Wayne was a priest in a version of America that the Catholic Church controlled for hundreds of years? That's not a what if.
Some what ifs were vague, what if the FF got different powers?
Mm-hmm, sure.
Or what if Conan came to modern day New York?
Yeah.
Those weren't based off of storylines where he could have gone and didn't.
For sure. Or what if the Marvel bullpen had the powers of the FF? Yeah. That's not
that
a
was
what if
adorable.
anymore.
Sure. That was so much fun.
Oh, those are fun for sure, but they're not really what ifs in the way that you would normally think of them.
No. I don't feel that anything that's coming out of Marvel is driven by C.B. Cebulski's vision of Marvel. He's just the mouthpiece now. He's not. I don't believe that he's the one saying, "Here's a new direction. We're going to do this," the way that a Jim Shooter would.
Uh-huh.
And it's not his fault. I'm not blaming him.
Yeah, I would,
but I want him to leave his mark.
I would back up the argument that there doesn't seem to be much of an overriding ethos for Marvel as a company right now beyond
glut.
Can we get the money before the money's all gone? Feels like how they're making all their decisions right now, which, as always, is not great long-term thinking for Marvel Comics, the number one publisher in comic books.
Nope. It's just depressing. That's what it is.
It's troubling. I would say it's definitely troubling when you see a spate of books where it's oh, those will all do minimal sales, and I don't really feel like risking my revenue on their games, I guess, their schemes.
Their reindeer games.
Yeah, not into that.
No, didn't they publish an adaptation of the Ben Affleck Charlize Theron movie, Reindeer Games? No,
that was Techno Comics.
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
I get that confused a lot. All right, so moving over to DC news. This is not I hate DC Comics. This is just DC news. 2 things from today. Number 1, as of noon today, or 2 o'clock today, our time, they changed the rules for the DC Comics retailer Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's going to impact your life greatly.
In the stories that you tell me, probably.
It is now basically a platform for them to impart information. It is not a place to deluge them with questions, inundate them with requests or complaints about diamond policies and things.
Okay, that sounds great.
I believe what it means ultimately is they're turning off commenting.
That sounds great.
And they're just going to be posting information.
That
And
sounds super smart.
I completely understand. There's a lot of retailers that are upset by it.
Sure.
But
at least DC doesn't have to do those complaints now.
just the sheer, like, somebody had suggested they should just hire someone to go through, to vet all the comments. Like, no, that's not a publisher's job.
Plus,
where does that money come from?
You would have to pay a ton of money to their next of kin because that person would kill themselves almost immediately.
Yeah, I completely understand why they're doing it, and they preface it, and I like. There were specific reasons this happened. They didn't elaborate, but I'm sure it's...
I can tell you what it is. Comic retailers.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it happened.
Right, but my point is, if we talk about it happening, are we part of the problem?
Like perpetuating it?
Well, part of it is things discussed there shouldn't be discussed elsewhere, and we're discussing that they got shut down because of things.
Oh,
I don't know. Like DC has said, look, you can still contact us this way. You can... and they specifically said, if you have questions about policy, talk to this person. You have questions about covers, talk to this person. Like,
DC has any
here's
number
other
of people
information
that you as a retailer can contact whenever you want.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to do Facebook the way they were doing it before. I think they should do whatever makes most sense for them as a company.
And also, they've announced that Batman 55, they anticipate it getting a serious amount of press for what happens on the last 2 pages of the book.
Okay.
They put up a PDF that A, didn't have those last 2 pages.
Okay.
And B, didn't have the first 20 pages. The link didn't work.
Oh, okay.
But they specifically said, we're not showing the last 2 pages, but because they can't trust us to not spoil it.
Sure. Clearly.
But also the link didn't work.
Okay.
So I couldn't. And also I was hesitant to look at it because I haven't read 54. So
yeah, 53 was the most recent.
Yeah.
It was the end of that Mr. Freeze arc. I think the next 2 are Tony Daniel, I think.
No, the next one is Matt Wagner, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And then...
that one's probably not going to get a lot of promotion from DC.
And isn't there another one? Like another... I don't know.
I think the Tony Daniel stuff is fairly soon because he's got the new costume now, or the old costume now.
And he's doing the metal foil cover. The 2-tone metal cover is a Tony Daniel one.
Okay.
Those look great, and it's neat that they are regular price.
Sure.
The $3.99. I don't see it being a thing that people want to collect all of them for because it's like Damage or Silencer.
Yeah, I definitely was not intending to order any more than we would normally order for a regular cover.
No, but what is a little frustrating on our end is if sales go up because of those, it won't translate into next issue sales.
Sure, I'll just try and keep that in mind. The good news that the way Comic Suite is populating those issues is that they say, like, Batman number 55 foil.
Foil, yeah.
So when I'm looking through the sales data, I can go, oh, we sold a ton the first week because that was a foil cover. Let's look at the previous issue and see what that sold, and maybe order to that number.
I did go up on a little bit of stuff for those on initial orders.
That's fine.
But it all depended on, like, if they had a good image of the cover, like, obviously not the foil effect, but... and I think that...
you can use your imagination.
I think that for the core heroes, people might care.
Okay. I've said it many times before. I find judging potential sales on the type of cover that's produced, I can't do it. I won't do it. It's
I understand. I
beyond
understand.
subjective. Yeah. You're asking me to say what is the better art, and it's like, man, better? No. Cannot play that game. No.
So those were the 2... Actually, I guess we added DC covers, like 3 DC things I had for the week.
Okay.
Elsewhere, it's not that big of a announcement week for the industry.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You and I are keeping very busy behind the scenes with things that we'll maybe never talk about, or maybe will. Who knows?
Oh, I think they'll bear fruit at some point.
At some point.
I don't know exactly when.
Earlier this week, we had both Mighty Mike Norton and Broadway Johnny Suntress in for a Lil Donnie appearance.
Yeah.
Because Lil Donnie hardcover volume 1 executive privilege came out, and Lil Donnie is a very funny strip that we've talked about before. Mike Norton does as catharsis for him getting through the current political landscape. And it is a funny strip, but it's also born out of tragedy for the most part. And it's hard to pitch that book to people because there's a point where you just don't, regardless of how clever or satirical it is, you just don't want to be reminded.
Yeah, here's a bunch of funny jokes about the thing that you're sick of.
Yeah.
Is a difficult pitch.
So, on the one hand, I think that there's a great audience for it. We just have to find them. On the other hand, if anybody's like, no, I completely understand.
Yeah.
However, the event itself was very poorly attended, in my estimation.
I would say typically attended.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you and I had a small discussion about whether or not we'd order the correct amount of copies.
Yeah, I
of
got
Little
excited
Donnie.
and thought we don't have enough.
Yeah, and I was willing to take more of a wait-and-see approach because we have felt...
Well,
we felt optimistic many times in the past, only to find out, oh no, we have not reached an audience, or no one cares, or whatever. So I am very much trying to not be optimistic, so I'm not disappointed afterwards.
And to be fair, when I came to you, it was far too late.
Uh-huh.
We couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, there was no discussion about, well, how do we make this happen? It's like the event's happening in like 6 hours. Like,
And,
it's done.
you know, one guy bought 3 copies. He wanted to give some away. 2 other guys showed up with beer for Mike and the copies they bought elsewhere.
Sure.
Of a book that just came out.
I assume that we have at least another probably 4 months of the Little Donnie book being
relevant,
topical.
Yeah.
So yeah, I assume that through those next 4 months we'll be selling copies.
Yeah.
Mostly around the holidays. It's definitely priced as a book where you can pick it up as a gift for someone that maybe you don't know a lot about, but know how they feel about politics. People talk about that a lot on the internet, so I assume it's easy to find out
something like
how
that.
people feel about politics.
And then we are recording this episode of Contest of Challengers. What is this again?
It's a comic industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Podcast Network. I'm W. Delbush.
And I'm Patrick Brower. We are both in Chicago, Illinois.
Yep, and we are the co-owners of Challengers Comics and Conversation.
We were supposed to be at the store right now for a release party for Ryan Brown's new God Hates Astronauts Presents 3D Cowboys 2D Spectacular, which got postponed by 2 weeks for reasons. We're still doing it. Now it is Friday, September 7th. And
I mean, I don't want to, like, give away stuff, but there's no, like, weird reason why I got delayed. Books aren't here yet.
yeah, that's all. Well, I mean, sometimes I feel like saying books aren't here yet. I don't want people to jump to conclusions that that's Ryan's fault.
No, just shipping.
So
books get shipped from another country. Sometimes
I didn't mind making it seem like it could possibly be an error on our part.
Oh, I always just want to get ahead
Even though
of
it wasn't Dal.
any
It wasn't
suspicion
our
people
fault.
might have that, like, something nefarious is happening or something troubling might be happening in the background. None of those.
Yeah.
Super simple. Books
It's a
aren't here
shipping
yet.
issue.
Yeah.
And then my personal schedule precludes it from being anytime sooner.
Sure.
One of the things I hate about Facebook, and I've said before, is that I can't really contact people that like our page. I can't invite people that like our page to store events unless I am personally a friend with them on Facebook. And in that regard, we had changed the date on Facebook, changed the date on our website, posted it on Twitter. Ryan said, "Is there a way you can message everybody who committed to going to the event?" And I said, "No." Then I looked into it and said, "There is. It's a way I can only message, again, the people that I'm friends with." And it would pull up a messenger window where I could mass message people, but I don't want to do that because that would put everybody into the same, basically, text chain.
Yeesh.
And I don't like that when that happens to me. So I chose to send individual messages to everybody,
Wow.
which also then had a lot of people responding, which I appreciate, but it was more work than I wanted to.
Sure.
And then some were weird, like Dave Scheidt answered in all caps, "I don't care."
Okay.
I think he was being funny. I mean, trying to be funny. I'm not
Pretty
sure.
funny.
I'm not sure. But then I realized I could message people I'm not friends with, but it would just be a message from me. This previous one sends a link to the event page, and I could say, "Hey, just FYI, it's changed to this
Okay.
date." The other ones, it wouldn't. It would be me messaging them randomly, and I chose not to do that because it wouldn't have a connotation of coming from the store
Okay.
without me having to build that in. But as we were talking about Conan earlier, the dedicated listener may have heard a falter, a pause in my voice, as I realized, I stayed late at the store today to accommodate a friend and customer who had called to say, I'm not going to make it on time. Is there any way you could stay? And since I didn't have immediate plans, I said, yeah, you're only going to be like 10 minutes late. I'll stay. In that time, nobody came. The lights were off, door was locked.
Sure.
Nobody came to come for this party.
Yeah, I sort of figured that's what happened.
Yeah.
Good news, you got the word out to everybody. Every single person. Good work.
Oh, man.
Phew.
Yeah, well, we need to be more proactive in inviting and telling people, and Ryan did already publicize it, and he hadn't done it for the last one.
Uh-huh.
So there's already more interest in this new one.
Perfect.
As a result. But that's still a thing that is coming up. And we've been busy this week planning things for the future. Mm-hmm. We have officially announced that I can do this. Saturday, October 13th, we're going to have Daniel Warren Johnson signing from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. for his brand new Image comical book, Murder Falcon.
Cool.
Murder Falcon is a book that seems like it was written for me. And I've already started planning the soundtrack. He's had input, but not directly. Like from an interview I listened to with Daniel where he talked about what he was listening to for this book or his influences for this book. Mm-hmm. I'm adding in.
Okay.
But I'm very excited for the soundtrack to this signing. I think he'll be happy with it. And I think I think he and I will be able to each expose the other person to perhaps artists they've not heard before, but would be right up their alley.
Awesome.
I'm going to come out and say that I don't know that he's ever heard Joe Stump, and I think Joe Stump is going to hit that sweet spot for him.
Cool.
For example, one of my favorite Joe Stump albums is called Supersonic Shred Machine.
Neat. So
that gives you an idea of what you'll be listening to. So that is Daniel Warren Johnson signing the release that Wednesday, Murder Falcon #1, on Saturday, October 13th. And you were working behind the scenes on a couple of different events that I don't remember the dates for. One of them, I think, is Saturday, November 3rd.
We haven't. You and I haven't talked about that, so it's not 100% confirmed yet. But yeah,
well, we don't
probably
have a time for sure.
Yeah, since it's a Saturday, I needed to talk to you about it to be like, hey,
fine.
Saturday guy.
That's fine. I mean, who knows what Russell will have that day, but
sure.
Do you want to mention it or
no? Because I want to wait until we actually nail it down.
Well, I made a flyer, but it's just got a placeholder time. Okay. But the cover file was the next size. Okay. And then there's another one that I can't even remember the artist's name that I just found out about by you scribbling a note in the order pack.
Jason Walls, who's the artist for a upcoming First Second graphic novel that we'll be having an event for later in the fall.
I want to say the book is called Last Call, but I want to say that because there's a Divorce Gun song called Last Call.
Yeah, we'll talk about the event more when it's closer to it.
That's fine. That's just like
that's another one that's...
It's virtually next month, technically.
Yeah-ish. It's like
I know.
5 or 6 weeks out, so we still have to do a little bit of catching up with the creator to make sure that everything is still on track, and check with the publisher to make sure that everything is on track. So that's why that hasn't gotten officially announced yet either.
But that is a family-friendly event for all the ages.
Yeah, it'll be a weeknight. We'll have more information about that when it's closer to it.
And there's another thing that, again, we can't announce because we don't have a date for it, but basically it's a classic Challengers thing where you had joked, oh, we could do this thing. I'm like, yeah, we can do that. And then we happened to tell the creator of the property involved that, yeah, we're going to do this thing. And he said, I'll come out for that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I was trying to remember what this was, and okay. Yeah, but that's... It's okay to not talk about this stuff for sure until we're ready to actually say, here's the date and time.
I'm just letting people know that, we're always working on things.
It's true.
I think things always got to happen.
They probably know that.
Read any good comics this week, Dale?
Not really.
So, not West Coast Avengers #1?
I did read West Coast Avengers #1. That was pretty fun. It was exactly the book I thought it was going to be. The problem with it is it's exactly the book I thought it was going to be, which is one that did not sell very well the last time it came out, when it was just called Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So while I'm super glad they made it, in that as a reader I really enjoy it, sales potential wise, nationwide, probably not great. Going to do great for Challengers. Hawkeye did great for Challengers.
Yeah.
West Coast Avengers is going to do great for Challengers. Be shocked if I saw a number 10 on any cover ever for West Coast Avengers. That would be a huge surprise. But it was good. I did enjoy it, and I was not disappointed by the book the creators turned out.
I read Amazing Spider-Man 4 just earlier today,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how much time is passing, but Nick Spencer is burning through spider villains and stories in single panels.
It's okay.
I know, but it's just...
Spider-Man's got a very large rogues gallery.
Right, but so much has happened in these first 4 issues. It's almost... it's a breakneck pace.
I'm glad for that, though.
Look, Barry Windsor-Smith is a great artist. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying I'm a little worried about its longevity. Wait, are we talking about West Coast Avengers or Spider-Man now? I can't remember.
I think we're talking about the Amazing Spider-Man, and I don't have that concern at all.
Okay, good. Are you enjoying it more, less, or the same?
They've spent a bunch of time on the Tri-Sentinel. I think they got plenty of villains they can use.
I did like the one face that's he spray painted the Spider-Man face. That's pretty good.
I like it because it's... You could do a basic story about how, like, you know, one side's Peter Parker and one side's Spider-Man, and what is Peter Parker like when he doesn't have to be Spider-Man, and what's Spider-Man like when he doesn't have to be Peter Parker? And it's like, yeah, that's a story you could do. The deeper, better story is Spider-Man is defined by power and responsibility. What if you took power and put it in one body and responsibility in another body? What is the power like without the responsibility? What is the responsibility like without the power?
They're both bad.
Those are interesting ideas to explore. Not in like a 15-issue format, but, you know, in like 5 or 6 issues. I think that's a very fun, interesting, different kind of Spider-Man story than just, you know, Spider-Man No More or whatever.
Sure, and I like seeing the Looter and Cyclone and villains like that. I just want, you know, a little bit more, more of them. Just, you know, a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely from the writer who gave Boomerang his largest, best role ever, I don't have any doubt that Nick Spencer could pull anybody out of the... You know, like the Will-o-the-Wisp could get a very cool, weird storyline.
Sure.
There's no really bad villains for Spider-Man because even the goofy ones have a lot of fun potential to them.
Yeah, I'm sure the Gibbon is coming right around the corner.
You never know.
I don't know. But what I did know is that I'm very thankful to the people that are a part of this podcast regularly as far as listening. So thanks.
Thanks, everybody. And keep reading comics, everybody.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.
Did you not realize that's what we were doing?
Well, you phrased it in a weird way where I didn't know if that was going to lead into, like, I gotta read these names off.
Oh, no, because it's not the beginning of the month yet.
I don't know.
Next week.
I don't know when you do it. I don't listen to this.
You don't listen as we're doing it.
No. Was I supposed to?
No.